Those family reunions don't always go as planned, and often hurt feelings are hiding in some of those family relationships.
That doesn't happen, does it?
Never.
To help us prevent the family feuds from bubbling up and boiling over, Studio 5 relationship coach Dr. Matt Townsend has some advice in case there are some conflicts. So is it too much to ask that extended families just get along?
Yes.
Oh.
It absolutely is. Think of that. You didn't choose these people. You were born into this, and then they have dirt on you, and they know your history, and they know how to get you.
So you're a victim.
So then all of a sudden they just work it and they work it. Family, but you know what's neat? They're forever. So if we don't fix them now,
that's the good part.
You got to fix them sometime. So there's ways to fix it. Okay, you don't have to be afraid. We all love you. You're good. In fact, your family called and they said they're over what happened this weekend.
Oh, good. Thanks, guys.
Here's the deal. Some rules. Just some simple rules to kind of mend the pain. Okay. Rule number 1, show loyalty. Okay? Don't gang up. Be loyal to the absent. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard of families bad-mouthing one member, talking about them, beating them up, and then the minute they get together, they all gossip about it. You want to get rid of pain in your families, get rid of the gossip. Be unwilling to talk about a family member that's not present.
I love that.
Be unwilling.
Is there such a good thing? I don't want to say good gossip, but sometimes you need to talk about someone.
Well, yeah, Stacy lost her arm. Okay, let's talk about that. That's bad. She needs help. But Stacy is really rude. And did you see what she did at the pool with Julie? But the minute you're gossiping, here's what's funny. You think you're just building relationships with everybody, but everybody knows you're a gossiper. So they know when you're the one that's having the trouble, they know what you're doing. So if you want to show loyalty, and I'll tell you where this begins, with mom and dad. We will not tolerate people talking about others that aren't here. Show the loyalty and don't gang up. A lot of times when you see a division in a family, everyone starts finding teams. And then the teams start fighting with each other. If you're showing loyalty and you're not ganging up, it's going to help a ton.
What if the parents are the problem? So if the siblings get together and recognize, hey, mom maybe unknowingly is kind of promoting this gossip, or dad is discussing the side business deal of my husband and it's hurting my feelings.
Then we gang up against mom and we say, we're not going to be loyal anymore. We're not going to be disloyal. But what I would do is I'd literally bring it out. I've just noticed we all talk about each other, and I don't think that's healthy. And Matt said it on Studio 5 that we shouldn't do that. So I just propose we don't do that anymore.
I wonder how many times the phrase Matt said.
I know.
That's good.
It's killed
There's
many
power in that phrase.
It's really bad. Another one is give the benefit of the doubt. There are really good reasons why people do stupid things, at least in their head, right? And the funny thing is, if we would give the benefit of the doubt, that's just me realizing that she probably didn't offend. She didn't mean to offend me. She just was busy. She was probably tired. She was exhausted. It's the summer. Her children are driving her crazy. That's why she didn't remember to come pick me up.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately. We discussed it, I think, a couple of months ago during a segment, and I think that could really be the solution to so many relationship problems. It's just assuming the other person has your best interest at heart.
Or just think about, why would you do the exact same thing?
Yeah.
Why would you do the exact same offensive thing that someone did to you, and you'll always come up with a really good reason? Or you'd say, well, I would never do that. Well, then force yourself to think as if you had. What's the reason? If we give the benefit of the doubt, here's a cool thing. It's not for you. I'm not giving Darren the benefit of the doubt for Darren's sake. I actually do it for my sake. Because if I don't give him the benefit of the doubt, I think he's a scoundrel and I want to crush him. And so just by me understanding he probably was overwhelmed, he was busy, he was tired, it actually changes what I feel.
Love it.
And then I can let it go down.
And even if they are a scoundrel, even if they're a bad person, you're the one who's going to be changed by that.
Always. Your feelings are always created by your interpretation. So if my interpretation is you're bad, my feelings feel bad. Okay? Another one is we focus on being a family instead of being right. So many of us in our silly little family arguments want to be right. In the end, you've got to ask yourself, if mom was diagnosed with cancer today, tell me what matters about any of this. It wouldn't matter. And so you'll see a lot of the times when families come together and get over and mend is at a death. When someone's dying, now all of a sudden we let everything go. You know why? Because we start giving the benefit of the doubt. We start doing some of this. We start giving up my need to be right for my need to be a family member.
And sometimes in families, don't you agree, people feel like they can push it that much farther because it is family, right? They're always going to love me. They have to. We're connected by blood. But in this case, it kind of benches that idea that we have to treat them like real people and not being worried about proving our point.
How many times as a parent have you been so mature that you realize that I don't have to be right here. I don't have to correct my son in this moment. I could just let it all go. And you just let it go and it's not a big deal. We just need that same maturity with our brothers, our sisters, with our parents. I don't always have to be right. Just big deep breath, suck it in, let it go. One of them that I skipped was stay in the game. Have you ever noticed that sometimes when you get in an argument, you just don't go anymore? I'm not going to mom's anymore. I am not going there. The huge problem. By the way, that's the perfect sign of a withdrawer. When someone's no longer playing the game, I am not playing the game, and they take the moral high road, thinking they're not playing the game, so they don't show up anymore.
What's wrong with staying out of the game? What's wrong with taking a break
Bambi's
from
mom
it?
said, or who was it? Thumper said, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. So shouldn't you just...
Well, yeah, show up and don't say anything at all.
Okay.
Shut your caker, but be there. Now, why? Why would we want to be there? If we want to mend a family, we don't mend a family by not being in the family. The way you mend something is you stay in it, and you don't exacerbate it and make it work. You don't participate with bad loyalty, but you stay in it. I'm going to influence you with positivity. I'm going to stay and make you deal with this. I'm not going to take you on per se, but I might. But I'm also not going to run away. The minute you run away, you lose influence. Why would we stop? I see it all the time with couples where one partner wants to talk and one runs away. And then this one that runs away is so mad at the one that always wants to talk. Well, then great, then stay. I can't, she'll talk. Well, then ask her to be quiet and share your side. We have to stay. If you're not in the space, you can't influence people. We want to influence them, right?
Love it.
Last but not least, don't assume that talking is the only way to communicate.
What do you mean?
So
What do you mean,
let's say we
Mr.
had a
Townsend?
major fight with our aunt, and we think we've got to have a talk. Well, maybe the aunt doesn't want to talk. Maybe it's uncomfortable. Maybe she feels guilty. Maybe she feels like you'll out-talk her.
But can you really move on without talking about it?
Well, yeah, you could write a letter.
Oh.
What? You could send a really embarrassing dancing bear to hand him some cookies. You could. There's a lot of things you could do to communicate. You could text. Now, it may not be the final conversation, but there's a lot of ways to get things started. Sometimes the best way to communicate to somebody is just be loving. Serve them. You could just go in and apologize right up front. And apologize right up front might get you an opportunity to then have the conversation. Don't assume we have to talk. Talking it's wonderful, and there's a place for it. It doesn't have to be the only way to mend something.
Which
we
is
could
perfect.
write letters. We could.
People have a hard time finding those exact words. Don't worry about finding the exact words. You don't have to talk.
And send in a spy. Send in your family member that knows her to go in and say, look, she's really sorry. And she wishes it had gone a different way, and she didn't feel like she handled it very well. But she'll be at dinner Sunday. And she just wants you to know before she gets there that she is sorry.
I might soften it.
You know what I mean?
A little bit.
That's
Very
one
nice.
way to do it.
How did your teen scene go last week?
Huge, 170 kids together
Fantastic.
building self-esteem. And we're going to do another one in a few months on social skills. Apparently our kids don't have the social skills they need. But we're doing one for couples now, because when we talk to your children, we found out that a lot of you have really messed up communication. So we're going to do a workshop called Real Communication, Real Results, August 24th. It's 6 hours long, 9 to 3.
Wow.
It's for couples, anybody dating that has communication problems. You come to the program. You can find out about it on matttownsend.com, and by the end of it, you will know how to have a real conversation on a difficult issue.
It's like a boot camp.
It's a boot camp
All day long,
for
Matt.
talking.
Thanks, Matt.